it's Meg. Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a junk journal with me for day 17 of Junk Journal July, which is paint. But before we get into that, what I'm going to do is some journal surgery because we have a bit of an emergency with my accordion journal. I'm 2 pages down, so I can only do 29 spreads rather than the 31. So I've reached the end of my journal here, and I put the cover on because I was pretty confident that I had enough pages, and I have doubled up on some of these spreads, so you can see I've done like 15 and 16 on this page. I did 8 and 9 together. So what I'm gonna do is add some extra pages into this journal, and I think that's the really great thing about this journal is that you can add more pages or take pages out if you've put too many in and you don't want to use them all. So I thought I would show you how to do that just in case you're wanting to do this with your own. We're just continuing with the same method, but if you've already put a cover on your journal like I have, what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to take my scissors and I'm just gonna carefully cut down here. So you might be panicking because I've just taken the cover off my journal, but we'll be fine. So I'll just pop this to the side for now. Also, I realized when I bound this anyway, I put my cover on upside down. So this gives us a chance to actually put my cover on the right side up. What you just need to be careful of is obviously to continue the fold in the right way. I'm just going to take some paper, and I thought because this prompt is paint, then I will incorporate just some watercolor paper just to give me something to work on. Now, honestly, I might end up just doing my painting outside of my journal and then adding it in. We will see, but I'm not sure whether this might be too stark. So what I might end up doing is actually coffee dyeing this. I just thought I'd add this because a lot of the pages that I've got here are quite fragile, and I've picked out my watercolors and my gouache that I'm going to use to do some painting, and so I just thought that that would be easier to have something thicker to work on. Now with this watercolor paper, obviously you don't want paper that's too thin and fragile on your edges, but something like this is also going to be quite thick at a join. So what I'm going to do is add another piece of paper. Let me just pop that there. Add another piece of paper as a joining piece. So I've just got this like scrap of an envelope here, so I thought I'll use this because if we're going to coffee dye this anyway, then we might as well use this. And this is literally just an envelope that's come in the post that I'm just making use of. I really like this washi tape, so I don't want to cover that up too much. I'm obviously going to tape this as well, but just as something to add a bit of a join to my page. And I will probably need to add something on this side as well because that's quite delicate. Some washi tape, because I don't want to put too much on this because I've already done some journaling. So I'm just going to try and put this in a way that doesn't impact on it too much. So I've just picked a rather neutral washi tape for this, and I really like the patchwork look of this junk journal style in particular. So I don't want to add any more tape, so I'm probably just going to grab some sellotape just to put on here. So just a bit of sellotape here so that I don't put anything over this nice flower sticker that I have added to the page. And then obviously I can't watercolor over that sellotape, but that's okay. We'll probably do a bit of collage or something. And then we just need to add the remainder of the page. So I actually have this ginormous book, and I'm just going to add something from here. I think I want something pretty plain because I'm going to be adding my painting, and that's going to be like the focal point. So I'm probably just going to pick something like this that isn't too bold or too intricate, and use this and then blend it in with the coffee dyeing. And then we want to make sure we've got ample overlap here. So we'll go to about here, we'll add some glue down the side, like so, and then add this in. So I'll just trim that there. I'm not too precious about it being like completely perfect. Trim that there. And then I think I actually want to cut that a little bit because that's bothering me. There's an additional page, and what I will do is then add the, let's see, how does this work? So that goes that way, and then we will we'll pop the cover on. I picked out this envelope. I actually really wanted to use this, but it's quite thick. It's from a Dilutions journal, but I didn't really know what to do with it in the actual journal itself. I don't really use many like pockets and stuff in terms of like keeping things in journals, but I really wanted to use this, but I'm not sure how I might use this. Maybe if I trim it to like here, and then it could go as a page here. Let's try that. If it fails, it fails, but you don't know if you don't try. Oh, and then we've also got this here, which I don't know if I prefer actually. That's quite cool, isn't it, to have as a pocket? But we've also got this here. So if we put it this way, then we can cover the hole, because I've got the pocket on this side, so you could use the pocket on this side as well, but I'm just going to use it on this side. So I'm probably going to tape it and then maybe like glue some paper or some washi tape just to cover that gap. But I think using some sellotape with this being so thick is probably going to be the best option in terms of making sure that it is secure on my journal. And then obviously this page is going to be smaller, but what I will do is add some paper down the bottom here just so that we can have a full page spread. And then we will just fold this here, make sure it's flush against the edge. So using like thicker papers with this kind of binding method, using tape is probably the way to go, because it's not going to necessarily sit as well if you just use glue. But like I said, we can come in and just add some papers over the top of this. So let me just grab my scrap paper box, which is full of all sorts of wonders. So we've got like some music sheet paper. I think that's a brown paper bag. I think something like this will go really nicely with the coffee dye. So we'll go to about here, because I don't want to go too much onto the other side. So let's just put some glue on here, and then maybe we'll use just some of this just to cover up that tape, because obviously if I'm painting as well, the tape isn't gonna take the paint very well. I'm just going to cover that with different papers, and then we'll come in, do some coffee dye. I think I might just cover this tape here as well, do a coffee dye base, and then do a painting on top. And what I think I'm going to do is paint some hydrangeas from the garden, because they are really, really nice. So I think they will look nice in my journal. That's folding nicely and it's nice and secure. Like I said, this method is really kind of patchworky and scrappy almost, using random things, but once you start journaling onto the page, things tend to come together a bit. So we just need to make sure that this page is obviously big enough. And by the way, I had no plan for this page at all really, so we are just making it up as we go. And any mistakes that I make are ones that you will see me make. But I think it's quite helpful. I enjoy watching people's like journal videos in real time and seeing that process of how things come together and like thought process and things. So I hope you enjoy watching these style videos. I know they're a bit longer and a bit chattier, but maybe you've got your journal out journaling along with me. Let me make sure this folds in the right way. Let's see, that way, that way, that way, that way. Yeah, this is a bit chunky, but I think it will be okay because it's at the end of my journal rather than being at the middle section. That would probably bulk it up a bit more. So we just need to cover up this ugly side over here, and then we need to reattach the cover. So I'm going to end up putting it that way, but then the right side up. So some music paper would be nice, but this is quite thick, so what I really want is something that is equally as thick. So I think using just this random bag here, the brown paper will be nice. So let's just use this. I don't really want the handle things to be in it, so let's just take those out because they're going to be too thick. Just gonna, whoops, pull that out. Okay, guess we're doing it that way. And then just take that bit off. It's gone a bit wonky. We'll go that way maybe, and then this way. So I'll probably put this on and then put something over here as well just to cover that, and I'll just use some glue and some washi tape just to secure this down because it's not as thick, so it should be okay to just glue down here as well. There we go. We've kind of got that layered look, but all I really wanted was to make sure that it was a full page. And it's not quite a full page, but I think that's okay. And then we will just cover up this side here, and then probably cover that as well to cover the tape that I added. And what I might do is actually go to here, trim that, and then a standard thing I always end up doing is I'll just pull this up because it's got a really nice edge on the paper. So we will just do that and then make sure that we have, whoops, glue all along here. And I'm sorry, this isn't really like a tutorial, but hopefully it's handy for you to see how I'm doing it. There's probably different ways that you could do it. There's probably ways where you could actually measure something. What I'm doing is just using things I have. So I had that random envelope, so I just kind of thought, oh, how could I use that? And then we kind of improvise. So we'll make sure that is down. We've covered the tape then as well. And then we will add the cover. Okay, so I just realized that I folded my journal the wrong way. So please check that you're folding your journal the right way. So we are all folded, everything is sitting nicely, and now we're going to attach the cover the correct way. This is the beauty of a junk journal anyway, because everything isn't perfect. So, you know, it doesn't matter if you make a bit of a mistake, because generally they aren't mistakes anyway. So let's try this again. So this would be the final page. So we've got this page and then this page. So this is our extra page, and then we also have an extra page here. So we've got 2 more pages. It's all worked out. Now we can get on with day 17, which is paint. So I'm just going to get my gouache paints laid out. I'll probably just put them on some scrap paper and then see what I want to do. Oh, I was going to coffee dye, wasn't I? Let's do some coffee dye first. Okay, so I've literally just got like a tiny bit of coffee, probably less than a teaspoon, if that, and then a little bit of water, just because if you filled this to the top, then your coffee would be really diluted. So just mix it in. Basically, just an old paintbrush, and you just add it to your journal like you would add watercolor. So you can add this to the entire page. You can add it just to portions of it. So for example, I could just add little dots of it here and there, but it's a really great way to kind of make things more cohesive in your journal. So if you did this across a page, I don't know whether the coffee dye will really show up on the envelope. This is part of the joy of using different papers in your junk journal, is testing and seeing which papers will coffee dye, which papers maybe won't. Some papers look really cool with it, and some, like brown papers, it doesn't really show up. But if you're using obviously lighter coloured papers, then it shows up really nicely. And if you want darker spots, then just add some extra coffee, and then you can either just take this and put it out in the sun to dry, or you could dry it with like a hairdryer or a heat gun. I think I'm going to add a light wash across all of this here. And you can see here how the sellotape is resisting the coffee, because obviously it's just water. So I will add some collage over there, because obviously that's going to look really odd once it's dry. But yeah, you can just maybe do even like little, if you tap your brush when you've got some coffee on it, you'll get some nice little splats. But yeah, just play around with where you want to put it. Like I said, if you want some darker spots, then you can just add some extra coffee. So I'm just going to take this now and dry it so that I can carry on with the rest of my page. And I'll show you what it looks like once it's dry. Okay, so this is my page now that I have dried the coffee, and you can see it gives a really nice effect, and the whole page has come together a lot more just with putting some coffee across the whole page. So what I'm going to do now is probably add my painting, and I'm seeing a nice spot here to do some painting. So the hydrangeas that are just off shot, they are a lovely pink and purple and blue. So I'm just going to pick out some colours that I think might go. So we've got like some pinks, some blues, lilac maybe, blush pink, white, so I can add some highlights to this. We'll see how this goes. Like I've said previously, the whole point of this challenge is to try new things. So if we do this and it doesn't look great, then we've tried something new and we move on to the next page essentially. So let's just squeeze out some of these paints onto just some scrap paper.
You say take me on a treasure hunt. I long for something new. Have you heard the fairies when they sing and dance? Oh, I wish it was me every night. When I close my eyes, I see trust you when you say that beauty lives in me too. Later it comes later, dear, for many of us. Promise you that we learn through the wrongs, and even the rough can be sweet. Just close your eyes and know beauty lives in me. I know I don't yet know it, so I trust you when you say that beauty lives in me too. It's gonna take some time to get there. I don't care, I don't care. I'm in for the fight. It's gonna take some time, but I know that.
I think I'm wanting to add some leaves to this, so I'm just gonna grab a green I'm just gonna use my watercolors here, and then I'm gonna add, where is my sap green? Over here. And I'm just gonna use the brush to make the shape of the leaf by pressing down and then lifting again, and then maybe we'll do one here as if it's like going off to the side. Do here as well, like so. So just pushing down with my brush just to make that leaf shape, nothing too precise or exact. And I think I'm going to come in with some coloured pencils to add some definition. Okay, so I've got my coloured pencils, and I'm just going to pick out some colours that will go with these. So the purples, the pinks, the blues and the greens. And the coloured pencils that I have are the Caran d'Ache Luminance pencils, and I've also got some Faber-Castells in here as well, but the Caran d'Ache pencils, I really like the opacity and the strength of the colours on them, so I think they will work really nicely over this. Purple, I'm probably going to use a Faber-Castell, the Polychromos in Venetian Red. What I'm going to do is just add some lines like this, and really I just want to bring out the petal shapes, so nothing too precise. I just want to hint at the fact that they are there.
Hey, I wish you could see yourself just sitting there on my chair. I'm staring at you, you don't even notice. Should've told you straight away, you don't have to be afraid anymore. I know you haven't noticed. You'll know, you'll know.
actually been experimenting with stuff like this. Like within my sketchbook, I've been doing different like drawings and then also playing around with different techniques and things. This is just some white gouache onto some black paint. So yeah, I've been practicing stuff in my sketchbook, so I really wanted to try and bring some of it into my journal. And then I'm just going to come in as well on my leaves, just to give them a bit of definition as well. And what I'm going to do is just add some shading because they currently look a bit flat. So I'm just going to come in, add some shading on the like bottom side of the leaf, just to give it a bit more depth because it currently looks a bit flat. So we'll just add it there. And like I said, I don't want to cover it all. All I want to do is just add that definition. And I'll just come in here and add that there as well. And we'll just add, that would be a shadow there. And then maybe what I'll do is also just add some detail and like smaller leaves with the actual pencil itself. I think that looks quite nice. And then maybe one here, not so long. I don't want it to like come all the way down here, but just something that adds a bit of detail because it's quite abstract. So having some detail helps. I don't know if I can draw over this, or I can. So I'm just going to add a tiny one just up here so that we have 3. You can barely see it, but I know it's there. So there we go. So that's my, actually I want to add, I'll add one here as well. So that's my painted floral element of this page. And then I'm probably just going to add some extra collage here because it's not my page without some collage. So let's grab my collage box and move these to one side. And then I think I might add some stamping as well, but we'll see, because I had a quote floating around that I wanted to use on this page whilst I sift through my box of stuff. So this might be quite nice to put in here actually. I made like a bunch of these cards just with different scraps of paper. So I might put that in here because I can add my journaling to the reverse of this. So I'll just add that in there and we can just close that shut. And to be honest, I don't really want to add too much to this side of the page because I really like the envelope and I kind of don't want to detract from it. So I've got that card that's in there now for the hidden journaling. So I'm going to focus on this side of the page, and I'm just going to, I just want to do a bit of a collage just to, you know, make sure that this random white spot is covered up. I don't want that to be too stark against the rest of the page, which has been coffee dyed. A couple of bits here, and I'll just grab my glue stick to add those. So just the tiny little bits, just there's a cluster in the corner. Just want to add some interest because the painting isn't like flat, but to me it feels a bit flat because I haven't added any collage to the page, which normally adds a lot of like texture and interest to the page. So let's see, I want that piece underneath this piece, and then we can just see how this looks. Oops, together. It's okay. I think it works a lot better as a page on its own there, but it's interesting to see how it works together. And I'm just going to pop this flat just so it's easier to work on. I think we'll just add something here and then maybe have it underneath a few bits of paper. I've got these like off-cut coffee dye sheets. I don't know, I'm just trying different things at this point because I'm really not sure about this page. Maybe I'm just overthinking it too much and I need to do something over the flowers, like not be too precious. And I can always bring it back over. The irony is, like, I quite like it over the flowers. I know I've painted them, but then that's quite nice. I prefer that to having, like, it feels a bit disjointed if I just have it here, whereas if I have it on there, then that looks a bit better. Maybe I'll wrinkle this. It looks a bit too pristine. Right, let's glue it down. Let's make a decision. Okay, I much prefer that. I think it was getting a bit too disjointed by having something here. And I think this lends itself really nicely to maybe like a journal spot or something. I can hear you all saying, stop Meg, stop, don't add anything else, it doesn't need anything else. Maybe just some detailing with, let's see, I got like I'll use one of my brown, I say brown, it's technically walnut brown, to add a bit of just definition on this. There we go, that stands out a bit more, doesn't it? To be honest, I might do some bold lines. Who cares at this point? There we go. Okay, and then I think I'm just gonna add some little like stars or dots just to get some detail in here. They're just little crisscrosses and stars, and that kind of brings everything across these different papers as well. And then yeah, I don't really want to add anything to this envelope. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna add a quick stamp with this border stamp here, just to have somewhere to add my date in. So I'm just going to take my normal black ink pad, but what I'm going to do, because I don't think I want it to be too harsh, is that I'm going to do a stamp on something else first. So maybe just this scrap piece of paper, and then I can use this in something else. I'm just going to do a stamp there, and you know, that might be really nice to use in another place in my journal. And then I'm going to do the second stamp here, because then that will be far lighter. So I'm just going to do it, let's see, maybe here, but I just want it to be, yeah, that's what I wanted. Not as bold. Then I'm just going to come in with my date stamp, add the right date to it, make sure it's the right way up. And then this one I don't mind being too bold, so I like that. And then I'm just going to add with my brown fine liner. So if you're wondering, this is a uni pen or uni pin fine liner in sepia, and it's the 05 nib. And I'm just going to write a quote about flowers here, just because I think that it needs some writing. And then I'm just going to gently add some kind of wibbly lines, just to add some interest. Dots and things down here as well, just to continue that theme down here. So I think that is my finished page. I hope you've enjoyed watching this video. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.